Hello there, YouTube. It has been a while since I recorded anything and posted anything, mostly because we're mainly focusing on Path of Exile in my videos, except for live streams where I played some different games. But recently I have been back on Dota grinding the ranked, and I was waiting for the new league. And now we have news about the new league that's starting on the 29th, which I'm gonna be playing, which I'm gonna be streaming and making guides about, because there is some very exciting changes, especially regarding the Acolyte of Chayula, which has been reworked on extent, with my own reservations and commentary about it in a few moments. But the way that I imagined this video to be is to look at the reveal from the GGG itself, and I'm gonna do some commentary about it, and then we're gonna go into what specifically the Chayulas could be specking into and getting into in the upcoming league. So without further ado, I'm just gonna play a video over here and make a couple of breaks and explain a couple of things. So please enjoy.
A cool build that certain people always enjoyed in POE1 was hand-to-hand combat, but until now we just didn't have a real way to make it viable. Well, that changes now. The monk, as a true martial artist, now has the ability to learn the hollow palm technique, a keystone that lets you use all quarterstaff skills while unarmed. All quarterstaff attacks now have a special unarmed version, and you get further bonuses to all your attacks from stacking energy shield and evasion on your character.
So as you can obviously see, this is something that I was thinking that is going to be the third ascendancy on the monk, the unarmed style. Who knows, maybe they will add that also down the line, but essentially what we're getting is physical damage based on their skill level when it comes to the skill. Now, how is this gonna work? I don't know really. What's the scaling gonna be like? Because from what I heard, people in Path of Exile 1 are saying that unarmed builds are very nice for leveling, so how it's gonna translate into the end game, that's a big question mark. On the other hand, when it comes to stacking, the 1% attacks, 1% more attack speed per 25 item evasion rating, and 0.1 critical hit chance per 10 energy shield on items can be stacked very nicely to some very nice levels. And as you can see, if we go to wiki and we look at armor category, so we're talking about obviously helmets, body armors, gloves, boots, and also shields. Have that in mind. But obviously we're not going to be running with the shield, especially it's not going to be working with the unarmed, because that's the whole point. You cannot slot anything in the hand slots, so no weapon, but you're going to be able to use only quarterstaff skill. Okay, so have that in mind if you're planning to go there. I'm planning to make one build based on it, depending on the response, if people would like to see that. If not, just stick to the known and go with it. But again, there is so much things that we don't know yet about the release, like specific support gems and etc. So I don't know right now enough information to theory craft so deeply, and that's why I just want to make a small video, since I haven't released anything in a while, and give you my opinion on what we could do potentially with Chayula based on the information that we do know from this reveal. So back to the video.
A new keystone we also added to the monk section of the tree is Walker of the Wilds. This changes mana leech to work with elemental damage instead of physical, which is pretty useful for all those elemental attacks the monk has.
Mana leech recovers based on elemental damage types instead of physical damage. Okay, so if we go to Chayula over here, if we go to Chayula over here, for some reason I'm getting this error. Haven't turned this on since May. Raven has dubbed mana leech recovers based on other damage types, as well as physical. So Chayula used to have, and we're going to get to that, ability to leech from everything, right? And we're speaking specifically about mana leech, right? So this is something right now that's spread over to other classes, other ascendancies. If you can path to it, it's going to be on the monk's passive skill tree area. And it's actually gonna swap physical damage for elemental damage, right? So you lose the leech from the mana leech from the physical damage, but you are able to get it from other types of elemental damage, not including the chaos. Okay, so that's a little bit of a difference compared to what monks, pardon me, Chayulas used to have in their ascendancy skill tree. Okay, but we're gonna get to our skill tree in a moment once this is done.
But it works well for the ranger too. Now, one of the least used ascendancy classes in the game is the Acolyte of
He's
Chayula.
our boy.
So we knew we needed to make some changes here. One of the key things we had to do was make the chaos damage that the Acolyte can do much more useful. So we've added a new skill, allowing chaos damage to ignite, shock, chill, and freeze, embracing the elemental prowess of the monk in a truly chaotic fashion.
This is very interesting, okay, because chaos damage is gonna be building up ability to freeze, right? Ignite and chill, so that's gonna be pardon me, and shock, so that's gonna be very, very good for us, and this is something that they're gonna be combining with, so let's take a look at it.
In addition, he can make all of his chaos damage leech. And we've buffed Into the Breach and Embrace the Darkness by moving the effects of the 4-point nodes into the base skills.
Nobody cares about darkness, okay, but I'm gonna get into the leech part once the showcase finishes.
He also gains a new notable, Grasp of the Void, which leaves void illusions behind you as you dodge roll.
Nobody cares.
If they're killed, they do massive explosions of darkness, dealing damage to everything in sight.
Take it away.
Now let's talk about...
So, I hope you enjoyed the video presentation, and again, I just want to make a statement: nobody cares about darkness. It's complete shit, alright? Just don't try to make anything from it. It's pointless. There's no need for it, alright? Now, let's open the patch notes, the beautiful patch notes. So, what I'm saying, there is not a lot of ability for us to right now speculate and theory craft. It's because we're gonna be getting 11 new support gems, okay, and we're getting also 40 lineage supports, which essentially are gonna be working like unique support skill gems, okay. So some of them are gonna be build defining, and on the reveal we only saw a few, nothing specific to the monks, so can't really assume things about it yet. I'm only gonna be making an ass out of you and me, so we don't want to be doing that. Wait for the 29th, we will see what's in the game. Of course, I'm gonna be making a video about it as soon as I can, probably a day after the patch. So, you know, I'm gonna try to keep you guys updated as soon as possible. But this is gonna allow us to really theory craft, because finally there is no more restriction on support gems, which means that if you want extra attack speed on every single one of your skills, you can have it, alright? You're not limited to one per character anymore, so keep that in mind, because that's gonna allow us a lot of diversity and ability to actually combo, right? To do the vision. Anyways, let's look at Chayula specifically, because this is what we care about. I saw they made some changes to the monk in general, and frankly nothing too special when it comes to ability to, you know, deal with the wind attacks. I think still the main way to be playing it is gonna be ice, strike, and tempest flurry, or flicker if you're into that. I like to combine things, but this is the important part, so let's get a little bit into it. The reality rending notable has been remained Sap of Nightmares, and no longer grants chance to gain a percentage of damage with hits as extra chaos damage. Instead, it now grants leech, recovers based on chaos damage as well as physical damage. So if we go back to our path of building over here, so basically what we got taken away is reality rending, okay. It was a gamble, basically. Nice small addition to the damage Invoker had better things. So this is being taken behind the shack, and it's going to be replaced by a version of this, okay. And this is also going to be removed. So this is moving over here, but it's kind of better, okay, because it's also combining these two. So let me explain. You see over here it says leech recovers based on chaos damage as well as physical damage. So elemental damage and leech is not gonna be working anymore for us. Alright, unless we go and take that node on the passive skill tree that I just discussed at the start of the video. Chaos damage leech we had before, okay? But it was all, guys, mana leech, alright? This time it's leech, alright? And when we go to wiki, because everything in Path of Exile is about wording, alright? Leech recovers an amount of life, mana, or energy shield over time based on hit damage taken by an enemy, alright? And this is the tooltip right here, alright? So it's not just me imagining things. And they said leech, which means that we are gonna be leeching life, mana, and energy shield, alright? Just by investing 2 nodes over there, and we lose the gamble or the casino option, as I like to call it. I think this is big. I think this is big, and it's very, very important, especially because how it's going to be combined with some other things. Now, lucid dreaming, notable passive, no longer provides any benefits itself. Instead, it's now being a multi-choice notable with the following choices. Choice of life, all flames of Chayula, you manifest are red. Choice of mana, all flames of Chayula, you manifest are blue. And choice of power, all flames of Chayula, you manifest are purple. So essentially what it does is that it's gonna be replacing your 4th node over here, and it's gonna be giving you ability to select which flames you want to show up. So if you select the purple flames, only purple flames are gonna show up. If you select red flames, only red flames, etc. So essentially it's gonna allow you to pick up a lot of stacking, right? But it doesn't give you the duration anymore, which is gonna be twice as bigger, and it doesn't give you the effect of it, right? Doubling from what was it? I think 7% to 14%. Been a while since I played. So that's gonna go over there. Into the Breach skill granted by the Walking Dream notable passive skills. Now grants Rembrandt spawned by supported skills have 0 to 50% increased effect. So I assume that it's only gonna be buffing, right, the effect, which is gonna be that buff that you're getting. So if this is gonna be 7%, getting 50% from the 7%, that's another 3.5. Okay, so the duration is gonna be lower as well. I forgot what's the duration exactly. I don't have the Path of Exile open right now, but you can look it up yourself and figure it out. But that's basically the change to people that like to play with the flames. I used to, now I don't. I started getting Chayula's gift, and then allowing myself to get the less chaos resistance on the items and swap it instead with something else, as this is doubling your chaos resistance, probably the hardest resistance to get a hold of without the investment. So yeah, that's pretty much about it when it comes to this part of the tree. Now let's take a look further down. The Grasp of the Void notable passive skill has been remade to Illusory Void and no longer requires Embrace the Darkness. It no longer provides gain 1% of extra chaos damage per 20 unreserved darkness, and instead grants a new skill, Void Illusion. Nobody gives a fuck. The Embrace of the Darkness notable passive skill now has darkness reservation lasts for 5 seconds, previously it was 10 seconds. Nobody gives a fuck. The Inner Silence notable passive skill has been remade to Deepening Shadows and no longer grants 50% reduced darkness reservation duration. It now instead grants 1% increased maximum darkness per 1% chaos resistance. Nobody gives a fuck. The Ravenous Depths notable passive skill has been renamed to Inner Turmoil and no longer grants mana leech recovers based on other damage types as well as physical damage. Instead, it now grants 1 volatility on inflicting elemental ailment and take no damage from volatility. Alright, this is gonna be big and I'm gonna go into it in a second. The Consuming Questions notable has been renamed to Unraveling and no longer grants you cannot recharge energy shield or mana leech effects also recover energy shield. Instead, it now grants chaos damage from hits, also contributes to ignite chance and magnitude, freeze buildup or shock changing every 2 seconds. My cat came here. Say hello. So, what are we speaking here about? We are speaking about getting 2 of these bad boys off, okay? And like I said, this is moving over here, but it's better because it's giving you, well, sure, you don't get the elemental damage leech, but you're gonna be able to leech from both life, mana, and energy shield. If again, I'm not mistaken, but I shouldn't be. And then we're getting Ravenous Depth change, so that one is going to be granting us volatility on inflicting elemental ailment and taking no damage for volatility. So the only handicap to volatility was, well, not the only one, there's another one, but the only one was the big one, right, was not to explode yourself after getting the stacks of volatility. So this is why barely anybody used it. But then again, right now we can stack volatility and not take any damage from it after it detonates. The second issue is detonating it, okay? Because if you gain stacks of volatility, your detonation timer goes on, all right? And to get that buff, we need detonation. So I hope they're gonna add us something that's gonna let us detonate volatility stacks manually, or in some other way. But we will see. That's why they said they're adding 17 clusters to the monk skill tree. Okay, so not 17 nodes, 17 clusters of nodes. So there's gonna be a lot of new choices, a lot of new options, and again, can't really know exactly what's gonna be there, but hopefully it's gonna be very, very interesting, and give us that ability to work with volatility a little bit better, because I'm gonna get into it, but yeah. Now the second part is that chaos damage from hits also contributes to ignite chance and magnitude, freeze buildup, or shock chance. All right, and this is changing every 2 seconds. So these two together is gonna allow you to get a lot of volatility stacks as you're applying elemental ailments from the volatility itself. So one is feeding into each other, and so on and so forth. Now let's take a look into volatility itself. So I couldn't find anything better to show you this, but we are basically speaking about over here volatility, which is volatility detonates after 4 seconds, dealing 100 physical damage to you per volatility. We don't care about getting the damage and exploding because we are gonna be immune to it. Now for 10 seconds after detonation, you gain 1% of damage as chaos. This gain is an extra. Okay, so if you having 1000 damage and you have 20 stacks, you're gonna get another 200 damage as chaos. Okay, so that's 1200. The detonation time will reset on gaining another stack of volatility. Now this is the part that again it's gonna allow you to get some crazy stacks of volatility, okay? But then again, coming into the boss, some bosses take a few seconds to spawn and to get the fight started and everything, so you might lose your volatility by the time you're getting to the boss. And then this is my only concern with it, right? Can I choose when to detonate my volatility? So I hope they prepared something for that, because this can be an issue for getting that extra damage on bossing. And I'm speaking stuff like Zesht and stuff like that, right? When you finish the area with Zesht, until you come to him, until he spawns, until he does his small animation, you're probably 10 seconds is gonna pass, right? So you're not gonna have your buff, and you're not gonna stop hitting boss for 4 seconds to get your volatility to detonate. I don't know how it's gonna work exactly, but hopefully there is something to it. Now, getting the volatility, I think is gonna be very easy. All right. First of all, there is volatility support gem that we're looking at right now, which is gonna give you volatility on critical hits. On top of that, we have our new ascendancy, which is gonna be my cat is going crazy. Which is gonna be giving you volatility on inflicting the elemental ailment, and on top of that, that combines with chaos damage also contributing to elemental ailments. So all that together is gonna be able to give you like crazy stacks of volatility. I think, if I'm not mistaken, volatility can stack indefinitely. So if you want a lot of extra damage as a chaos damage, this is gonna this is where it can come from. And then again, this is together working nicely with your leech, right? That's gonna come from both physical and chaos damage, unless you wanna switch it over to. Sorry, my cat is too much. Unless you wanna switch it over to getting that leech from the elemental damage, but then you don't have physical damage, and then again, you know, it's kind of like limiting in the things that you can do. All right, so this is what I can say from the information that we are having, okay? But I cannot speculate more on it because we just don't have the full scope of the vision, right? All the support scams that's gonna be there, and especially those lineage gems. I think there's gonna be some very interesting things, and probably something with volatility itself, and maybe some new unique item. We will see. We will see what's there. The other thing is to see how we're gonna be working with the instant leech. Okay, so we might still need to wear the gloves for the instant leech, but overall, it looks promising. I will not say that that I'm crazily happy with the changes, but it's gonna give us the ability to experiment, and we're gonna be able to see what we can get into. There is too much question marks right now, especially that detonation concern that I have when it comes to bossing. I think for, you know, in general mapping, it's gonna be great. No worries about it, because you can stop for 4 seconds, let the thing explode and go on to stack it and etc, and just go on with the map. But the problem is the bossing, especially those bosses. You know, we're speaking about pinnacle bosses over here mostly, where you need to wait for those 4 seconds, and again on specific ones. I can imagine, you know, going on King in the Mist, you know, sometimes you wanna stop, hit him, dodge the tornado, do some shit, right? You're gonna pop off the explosion, come back to him, sure. But there are some bosses like Zesh that you don't wanna stop hitting, right? You wanna finish them as soon as possible, so he doesn't one-shot you. But yeah, I think this can be viable. Also, I'm curious to see how it's gonna be working with the unarmed, and if we can incorporate that into my Chayula build. Or we're gonna make 2 builds or 3 builds, maybe try something with the darkness. But yeah, I would be surprised if that's gonna work. But yeah, I guess that would be it for now when it comes to especially monks and Chayula. I'm also gonna be trying the wind skills. I don't think they're gonna be that much great. But again, we need to see the numbers. We need to see the letters. We need to see the numbers, and I'm only gonna know that, and you as well, on the 29th once it drops out. So that would be it for the moment. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop a subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment, join the Discord. Everything's gonna be linked in the description below. And if you have some further questions or advices or tips, leave them to community. It would be greatly appreciated. So thank you very much, guys, again for watching, and see you on the 29th.